So everyone, we just got the new Hawk Pass that's coming very shortly, right after maintenance. I don't know when I'm going to upload this video, but it might be before or after maintenance. But we're going to be talking about the 2 new units that will be coming with the Hawk Pass if you purchase it. I believe the price is somewhere around $8 like it was last time. Pretty much all the rewards I think were the same, except for we're getting 2 new characters. Now, one of the characters we're going to be getting is Holy Knight Deldry, and the other one we're going to be picking up here is Holy Knight Arden. Let's talk about Arden first. Arden has a very awesome passive that I cannot wait to maybe playtest in some PvP, because I feel like with the current ult rush meta that we have, he could find a little place there with his passive. His passive is when this unit joins the battle, reduce the ultimate gauges of all enemies by 2. So you could do maybe some tilty things with that. So I can't wait to play around with that and see what we can do. Now, on his skill 3, he inflicts damage equal to 350% of attack on one enemy, poison for 3 turns. Now, obviously, he is an SR, not an SSR, but he still does have somewhat of a small, like, a much smaller, I would say, multiplier on a single target attack. Now, granted, he does have a DOT, damage over time, with poison, which does deal additional damage equal to 50% of damage dealt, so I guess it kind of makes up for it, and at rank 2 and 3, he does pick it up for 3 turns. But it does suck that the multiplier is still a little bit lower. I like those to be around 400 to 450%. 500 plus, of course, would be for more the higher tiered units. But still, not too bad. Skill 2. Inflicts collapse damage equal to 400% of attack on enemy. So I'm glad that he was able to pick up a little bit more damage on his skill 2. So he's doing double single targets here on a skill 1 and skill 2. He does get collapse. Now, collapse is going to be a little bit harder to make that usable right now, because it does 2 times damage against stanced enemies. And you don't see too much stanced enemies right now in the current meta for the most part, or even in most PvE stage that we're doing at the moment that I believe. Maybe there's a couple out there that I'm missing off the top of my head, but yeah, it's very you know, situational there with that compared to what we're used to facing on a day-to-day basis. But still, the 400% is still really nice. Alright, now his ultimate is very interesting. Now he's going to inflict damage equal to 560% all the way up to 840 if you 6 out of 6 him, and it decreases that enemy's HP related stats by 40% for 2 turns. So that's actually a pretty big hit. It's a little bit more deceptive than you might think, because HP related stats also includes HP. That's HP, lifesteal, regeneration, and recovery, all being hit by 40%. That is huge. That's basically, like, I believe, taking 40% damage from an enemy on top of the actual damage he's doing. So that's a nice big hit. I'm actually curious of what this guy could do to Red Demon on Extreme right now. I might play test him and see how it goes, because he is, of course, a blue speed type. So I might play around if I do decide to build him up all the way to 75. I don't know when that might be. But if I do want to try him out, I might, you know, do a video testing him against Red Demon and kind of just see what his damage is comparable to maybe like Blue Jericho, which is another good SR that I use on a day-to-day basis. And we'll see kind of how they compare and contrast. Could be kind of fun. His base stats, I don't really like to go into the base stats too much right here, because he is an SR, so his stats go up a little bit more when he's a SSR and higher. But his pierce rate is 30%, resistance 20, crit chance is 40, 130 crit damage, etc, etc. So obviously through cosmetics, through awakening, and through evolution, those go up a little bit. Let's talk about Deldry now. This is the SSR that's going to be coming with the banner. Now her unique, aka her passive, Slave of Love, is very interesting. Charm one enemy at the start of the battle in PvP. If the target uses a skill that will deal immediate damage to Deldry, the skill will be cancelled and no damage will be taken by any allies if it is an AoE skill. Applies when entering the battle. So she has to be in the fight. Well, if we're in a very AoE meta, she's going to be very strong with that passive, because no matter what, if any of those 3 units get hit with her passive at the start of the game, or when she enters the battle, if she's coming off the bench, she's going to basically make that unit not be able to damage you, which is very crazy good. I want to try a test with her and Golland and kind of see how well those 2 play off of each other with their passives, and see what kind of tilt that we can do. So if I choose also to build her up going forward as well anytime soon, I might do some play tests with her and see how fun that she can be in PvP, because that's really cool. Now, I'm going to get to her first skill last, because there's a big problem that I have with it. This is one of the big downsides to her that I'm not happy with, unfortunately. She could have been an amazing unit outside of this one problem. I'm not saying she's bad. She's still really, really good, especially if you can make her passive work. But it's the her unhappy hit that's a little bit, it's a little underwhelming. I'll talk about that at the end. So Blow Kiss increases HP related stats of one ally by 30% and applies a taunt buff for 2 turns. If you pair that up with like a red Gil Thunder, that could be a really, really cool combo, because you can just always keep your Gil Thunder on taunt. That way he can keep absorbing all that damage, and maybe even do some real tilt and have like a Taizu in the back or something for additional damage reduction. Who knows what you can do. It could be a really fun team. Definitely want to try that out. It's also really cool if you don't want a certain enemy to get hit that you're trying to maybe ult rush with, so you can apply a taunt to that another unit opposite of that unit, even herself, and boom, then you won't have to worry about that unit getting their ults removed or attacked, and then they can do their thing. So that there's a lot of cool things that you can do, a lot of combos with that. Now her ultimate inflicts damage equal to up to 540% of attack on all enemies, prevents ultimate move gauge from filling up for 1 turn. So, you know, both these units are somewhat, in a way, a little bit anti-ult rush, in a way. I feel like, obviously, Arden is more upfront with that, whereas with her, it's more, you know, you got to get into her ultimate to pull that off. But still, very, very cool that you can lock them out of their ults being filled up for 1 turn. It could be very helpful in some situations, and you know, not a bad 540% multiplier on her attack for AoE. Obviously, it's not up in the 600% like you'd like them to be, but still. Her combat class at, you know, base is 3494, so somewhat on a little bit below average. Her attack is 450, defense 280, HP 6000. But here's where she really falters for me a bit in terms of her skill set. Now, this doesn't mean that she's not good anymore, but it definitely decreases her value of how good she could have been. She could have been a very, very good unit. But if you notice, her crit chance is a very measly 20%. 20% crit chance is terrible, and the reason why is because her first skill does spike. 400% of attack is a really good multiplier, but if you're doing spike with 2 times crit damage, that is a lot of damage potential on her skill 1, which would be amazing. But it's 2 times crit damage, which is fine, because with her Link unit down here, Arden, for example, you get an additional 23.4% crit damage. You get the same as well from Dreyfus. So she's going to be taking that up over the 180 mark, and that's before cosmetics and awakening. And then you also add maybe attack and crit damage on her, and now she's up in the 200% plus mark. And then you're doing 2 times that. That's 400% crit damage, which is not bad. That's a lot of damage, but the problem is her crit chance is so dang low. So the chances of you critting is not going to be very likely, and that is the biggest drawback to her skill set. If that crit chance was around 50% to maybe 70%, this unit would be so much better. But again, her passive is very, very cool. Her other skill sets are not too bad, but man, it really sucks that you're going to be losing a lot of damage potential if you don't crit, and her crit is so low. So that's my biggest pet peeve with Deldry. Let me know what you guys and gals think in the comment section below. What do you think about these 2 new units that are coming to the game here? Hopefully this review was good for you guys, and hopefully you guys are having a lot of fun in the game, taking care, being safe. Don't forget to subscribe, tick notifications, join us in the Discord in the description below. Also, don't forget, if you want to play this game in full screen, you want to help support the channel, my link for that is in the description below. It's free. Go ahead and just click download, and you're good to go with BlueStacks. Also, go ahead and like the video if you did. And that's going to be it for me, guys. So take care. Have a good one. Until then, peace.